Hello everyone, Mike David here. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 tips for a successful off-season. Number 1 is going to be start off as lean as you possibly can. Now, this is going to differ depending on if you're a natural or an enhanced athlete. If you're natural, somewhere around 8 to 10% body fat. If you're enhanced, I'd really like to see you stage lean before you start your off season. That means around 6 to 8% body fat. When you start off extremely lean, there are so many benefits that are just going to make your off season better. First of all, your insulin sensitivity is going to be improved. Your nutrient partitioning is going to be improved, so you'll be able to utilize the food that you do eat in a better fashion and convert it to muscle rather than fat. You'll also be able to take advantage of the post-diet rebound phase where you fill out with a bunch of temporary volume that sort of sets the structure and puts things in motion in order for you to have a proper off-season. If you are an enhanced athlete, you'll be in a better hormonal environment. Even if you're natural, yes, you will have some hormonal issues at very low levels of body fat, but you will still convert less of the testosterone that you do produce into estrogen. And when you're at a higher body fat level, you're going to be converting more of your testosterone into estrogen, which is not going to be favorable for muscle growth. It's going to be more favorable for fat gain. Additionally, the leaner you start, the more runway you have to push up food in the off season and grow muscle and not have to worry about how much fat you gain, because yes, you do want to stay lean, but when you start off ridiculously lean, you can put on 10, 20 pounds of fat and not even have to worry because you're still going to be lean. So this just allows you to extend the off season long enough for it to be as productive as it possibly can. Tip number 2 is going to be make gut health and digestion a major priority. This means eating probiotic-rich foods. It means eating a wide diversity of healthy foods that are micronutrient dense. It means avoiding foods that give you GI issues, so low FODMAP foods would be ideal for the most part. It means keeping on top of your cardio. It means walking after you have your meals, taking digestion walks in order to keep the food moving through you. Remember, in the off season, the goal is to keep pushing up food while you're getting stronger in the gym. So if you're not able to digest and assimilate the nutrients that you're eating, and your appetite is poor, you're not going to be able to utilize food efficiently. And if you have poor appetite, you're not even going to be able to get the food down in the first place. I think that gut health is severely overlooked in bodybuilding. You do see a lot of the top pros focusing on their gut health, but most gym bros who are just going to the gym, working out, and going home and drinking a protein shake, casual gym goers, these guys are not paying attention to their gut health, and then they wonder why they never grow. So make gut health and digestion a major priority. Tip number 3 is going to be making your sleep quality and your sleep-wake times also a major priority. So when I say sleep quality, I mean getting 7 to 9 hours a night of high-quality sleep. That means not taking drugs to go to sleep. Things like having proper sleep hygiene, getting in bed a half an hour before your bedtime, wearing blue light blocking glasses, reading a book for 30 minutes before you go to sleep, having blackout curtains, wearing an eye mask, using a CPAP if you need one, which if you're a bodybuilder in the off season, especially if you're enhanced, you probably do need a CPAP. So if you haven't gotten a sleep study done and you're having poor quality sleep, I would highly suggest doing so. You really don't even have to go out of your way to do this anymore. I got mine done through a company online called Lofta. This is not a promotion or anything like that. It's just who I went through. It cost me about $200 and they sent the stuff right to my house. You wear a couple sensors, you wear a little knockoff Apple Watch for a night, you put your phone next to you while you go to sleep, and you wake up the next morning, it gives you a report, you send it into the company, and they'll respond back to you and let you know whether or not you have sleep apnea and need a CPAP. Sleep-wake times are also extremely important for your sleep quality. That means going to bed every night at the same time if possible and waking up at the same time every morning if possible. Now, I know some of you guys are shift workers, so this might not be possible for all of you, but for those of you who it is possible for, I would highly recommend doing so, not only because it's going to keep you getting proper sleep, which is going to allow you to recover. It's also going to allow you to get your meals in at the same time every day, which is another extremely important aspect of the off season. Because as you know, as you get deeper into the off season and your hormonal environment starts to shift regarding your leptin and your ghrelin levels, your gastric emptying slows down and it just becomes a lot harder to get your food down. You're not always as hungry for your meals. Sometimes it takes you an hour to get a meal down. And if you have a set meal schedule where you wake up and, for example, you have your first meal at at 7 o'clock in the morning every day and you have your last meal at 8 o'clock at night and you're in bed by 9, well, the moment that you sleep an hour late and you don't get your first meal in until 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, you're now an hour behind schedule, and you're either going to have to cram your meals into a smaller window, which is going to ruin your digestion and make it even harder to get your meals down the next day, or you're going to have to sacrifice sleep because you'll stay up too late eating your food. Neither one of those are going to be conducive to a productive off-season, so I highly recommend going to sleep and waking up at the same time every single day so that you can keep your meal schedule consistent. Tip number 4, and this is going to be especially important for those of you who are enhanced, is to make your health a major focus in the off season. So this means getting your blood work done, again, staying on top of your cardio, keeping your blood pressure in check, taking the supplements that you need for your lipids, for example, nattokinase, such as bergamot, fish oil. It means avoiding harsh compounds like orals and trenbolone and things like that if you're enhanced. The goal in the off season is to stay as healthy as possible for as long as possible so that when you're finished and it's time to start a contest prep or a diet for those of you who aren't competing, you're in a healthy enough state to do so, because we know that contest prep is going to be the least healthy phase of your year. If you're already having your health markers skewed when you go into the contest prep, you're setting yourself up for failure. And tip number 5 is going to be managing your recovery. And when I talk about recovery, I know I did mention sleep already, but I'm also talking about not going balls to the wall 6 days a week in the gym like a lot of guys do. A lot of guys think, okay, it's the off season, I'm eating more food, now I can train my balls off 6 days a week and do drop sets and rest pause sets on every single set. This is not going to lead to muscle growth. This is going to lead to fatigue, and it's going to lead to poor sleep. And all of these things are going to impact your ability to grow muscle, which is the goal in the off season. Now, I'm not saying that you should not train with intensity. Of course you should. You can implement these set extenders or intensifiers here and there, maybe once every couple of weeks on certain body parts, or even every session you can do it for 1 or 2 of your movements. But you absolutely should not be taking every set balls to the wall, adding drop sets and rest pause sets. Use them as tools when necessary, but don't do them all the time. I used to be one of these guys who trained 6 days a week and wondered why I never grew. And this last off season, when I put on 20 pounds of muscle in 16 months, I was training 2 days on and 1 day off. So I have a 6-day push-pull leg split, and that 6-day split actually takes me 9 days, because instead of having 1 recovery day, I have 3 rest days now. And I've grown more in this past off season than I have in my entire life. I completely transformed my physique. It was the best thing that I've ever done for myself. So I highly recommend making sure that your recovery is something that you pay extreme attention to. Those are my 5 tips for a successful off season. If you got any value out of this video, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, commenting, hitting the notification bell. And if you're interested in my coaching, my training programs, you can find all that stuff at md3nutrition.com. I would highly appreciate you checking it out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.